ladies and gentlemen. I remember, hearing about the story a while back when it still happened. Like, it was so unbelievable, right? I was really slow to kind of taking what's going on seriously. In my head, I kind of assumed it must be one of those dead internet concepts again, right? Where it's like it can't be real or whatever the case. I don't know, bro. Like, I find myself like a trillion miles away from the environments wherein these things happen. But then, now that it's been confirmed that we are absolutely looking at pure evil whenever you look at this man's eyes right here, D4VD, that is. If you know, you know. But it's just a psychological analysis by Jay Wisdom. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get deep into a killer's psychology. You know what I'm saying? So this one is not for the overly sensitive. You know what I'm saying? That's a little disclaimer. If you're not into this kind of content, I mean, we breaking down D4VD. Y'all know the story, everything, the details. Let's see it though.
Now the truth is I've digressed from all the feelings, so it's forever though. But my mama's son is missing. Ain't no telling, do they love or did they kill him? The dominoes have fallen, we can't go back to beginning. This existential crisis, the reason I cannot keep competing and keep on living. So it's back against the world, seeing all your value once you've dealt with all the dirt. Backing up slowly from these diamonds and pearls, quote unquote.
D4VD, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all know, y'all done did homework. Matter of fact, y'all didn't even have to do homework. The story was loud on its own, right? It was loud enough on its own. Not just the story, but the smell that came from this man's Tesla. You know what I'm saying? From the body of the little girl that he murdered. Right? Yeah. So the warning signs, right? We breaking down the warning signs nobody saw. A psychological analysis channel right here, Jay Wisdom. Hopefully it's not gonna do a disservice with regards to why we're here. But you know what I'm saying? Let me see something. Okay, fair amount of views for us to just be convinced that we may be in the right spot in terms of breaking down everything. Because I remember when it initially happened, as I said in the intro, bro, when it initially happened, bro, it was like, is this even real game? This is so crazy though. I've never heard nothing, you know what I'm saying? Nothing of this sort of caliber of darkness, bro. And so when it happened though, a whole bunch of people, would report on it, say something about it, but the fact that he really did it or not, like, that was at the point, that was the point at which it wasn't confirmed yet by the law. And so now it's confirmed. I think he's locked up now about what happened. We about to see. You know what I'm saying? If in case you don't know, we about to dive deep into it. But yeah, it's confirmed now. He is, he did it. What am I talking about? Let's see it.
A murder that has become one of the most discussed crime cases of recent times is that of David Anthony Burke, who went by the stage name David. David was at the peak of his career. He dropped a high-charting debut album, he had millions of social media followers, and was significantly wealthy for a man only 20 years old.
Bro, and look, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would admit the fact that, like, the trajectory of how he got himself on, or how he created the platform for himself to just like get to a point of streaming so much as a musician, it was actually something, like the mind behind it was something that you couldn't knock. You know what I'm saying? It worked for him. You know what I mean? And it was like the kind of independent moves that could literally be productive for a whole lot of people trying to do the independent route. Like, it was really like, wow, like, right? This is crazy how you got yourself this kind of success with the music,
However, in September of 2025, detectives discovered the body of a 14-year-old girl that had been missing for months, Celeste Rivas Hernandez, in the trunk of his Tesla, decomposed, dismembered, and abandoned.
Crazy.
And for months, people debated on whether they believed that this innocent-looking, clean-shaven young man with a melodic voice could do the things he'd been accused of.
Oh my God, clean-shaven, innocent-looking. Look, this story right here, right, is one story that, like, is one story that should confirm with everybody that, appearances, right? Yes, the deception of appearances, right? People use aesthetics like real good to mask up who they really are. Absolute degenerates. You know what I'm saying? Like that beauty little thing. I feel like from here on out, like I wouldn't be tripping using the metric of beauty to confirm evil for sure, or the covering of evil. The more beautiful something or somebody appears, hey man, the more dark it may be, dog. The deeper the dark hole goes. I'm saying, I'm not saying beautiful, I'm just like with the beautiful thing, blanket statement, like attractive, right? In this case, right, the fact that Jay Wisdom was like, yo, homie is like unsuspecting, right, clean shaven, you know what I'm saying, innocent looking. Oh no, that's what I mean too. With the beautiful aspect, you might look at the females with that, be like, yo, the more they got it. And plus, bro, today's form of beauty that, you know, women use, bro, it's so like synthetic fake, bro. It's like, it's obvious that, nah, bro, something may not be right about you, just based off of like how you want to appear right now, you know what I mean?
But now that David has been arrested for murder, and the prosecution have documented their evidence, the likelihood that this was some sort of setup has been significantly reduced. It became evidenced that David had a physical relationship with Celeste while she was still a child. And when they broke up, she allegedly threatened to expose the relationship to ruin his career.
Wait, when they broke up, she threatened to expose what?
He was still a child. And when they broke up, and she allegedly threatened to expose the relationship to ruin his career.
To ruin his career. Oh my God, why now? Why? Why are you missing? Why are you in that dark hole that we talked about? You know what I'm saying? I fuck around, see the face of this evil nigga David. Chill out. We here. Stop blacking out on me. I keep warning you. No. Cause I would imagine now, you know, why when we break up and then it hits me, okay, it's sour. You know, it's always like bitter when people break up, especially at a young age. Like at a young age, y'all didn't know what y'all was doing anyway. Y'all were overly attached to what was going on, aka, you know, y'all relationship and things like that, that things may be so bitter. You know what I'm saying? Just based off of like how intensely y'all were attached to what was going on. You know what I'm saying? And because of the intensity of that attachment, like, yo, she could turn out really bitter. Okay, so she threatened to expose him.
Prosecution believed he took matters into his own hands to protect what he'd built. But when you add the context that he made music constantly that included themes of blood, violence, and a romance that ends in tragedy, it's caused a lot of people to suspect that this outcome was something David always wanted. However, I'm not here to discuss theory and conspiracy. I'm here to clinically answer two main overarching questions.
Okay, what's that?
How did David's life engineer him to become someone capable of potentially murdering and dismembering a child? And if he did, then what mental mechanisms allowed him to carry on with life after the fact?
I feel like this is actually perfect that you are here with us, Jay Wisdom, because we used to be a psychology channel. Y'all remember that? We used to break down kind of psychologies of, you know, XYZ human beings or whatever kind of activities that we are reacting to. This is actually pretty nice because I might just frequent this channel now. Hello, Jay Wisdom. I might just frequent your spot right quick so that we can get a whole lot more of these. Like, these is in alignment. Okay, go on, sir. My bad.
The body of the girl he was once intimate with was decomposing in his car. It's easy to just label him as pure evil and move on. But as a student of psychology, I find it crucial that we understand what happened to him.
No. What? Look at this man's face, bro. I'm pretty sure he's just playing the game right here, right? Look at this. It's like no expression, bro. It's like he's committing the MURDER right there playing this game. Look at this. This looks scary, dog.
In childhood, but as a student of psychology, I find it crucial that we understand what happened to him in childhood. What were the warning signs?
You see that?
And I find it crucial that we understand what happened to him in childhood. What were the warning psychology? I find it crucial that we understand what happened to him in childhood. What were the warning signs? And figure out the why. that surely exists in this story.
Let's do
There's
it.
a lot of questions I've seen online that I think I have the ability to answer
my
by the end
God,
of this
bro.
video. Answers that will give you a genuine
just black out
understanding
on
into
me
the
again?
mind and psychology of David Anthony Burke.
I played it for her in the car. She was like, David, this song is too violent. You talking about killing people in your music? No, not my son. And I was like, wait, I might be onto something.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, hold on, let me just see something, because you blacking out on me like this, I think it's gonna pose a little bit of a problem. You see what I'm saying? Gonna pose a little bit of a problem, but as I proceed to do what I want to do real quick and check if the audio is real good, right? I feel like David is one of those guys, right, where it's like, yo, he had this appearance, okay, like this frontal appearance where, you know, soft spoken, you know what I'm saying, soft features in the face, and by that I mean, you know, late bloomer in terms of getting all this rough facial hair around him, things like that. Maybe he did, you know, make the effort at just like keeping himself appearing young, because, you know, I feel like he saw value in him appearing unsuspected. You know what I'm saying? Appearing like he's like, yeah, appearing just innocent the whole time. You see what I'm saying? So, wait, yeah, basically I just want to hear the volume. Because, you know, I feel like he saw value. Okay, cool. I think the volume was cool. So, yeah, you know what I mean? I think he was kind of just like riding on that sort of coattail. But let me fix something here, I think. I'd have to do this a little bit. Yeah, so that's my whole little theory about David and why he chose to be on what what he's on, because he probably thought like his whole life he might be able to get away with this kind of psychology, right? Because he looks innocent, unsuspecting, so what I'm trying to say is I think he was aware of that. I think he was aware of that aspect of himself.
Let's start from the beginning. So you're a New Yorker.
New Yorker, Queens, New York.
What are your parents like? Are they musicians?
Not at all. My dad is a litigator for a law firm. My mother was a teacher. She doesn't do it anymore, but she does notary now.
David Anthony Burke was born in Queens, New York, to Colleen and Dawood Burke, two Christian parents that seemingly would give him a tough and controlled upbringing.
Everything we play.
Like, yo, little serious question, right? Like, imagine yourself, bro, you are David's parents, gang. Like, and you hear about these things, like about David, you know what I'm saying? Especially, you know, they're Christian parents who did the right thing. They was hard workers for theirs, you know what I'm saying? For their family and stuff like that. A lawyer and a teacher, you feel me? So it was really like people that were taking themselves seriously with this life thing, right? And so all of a sudden now, you know, you're trying to stick on the straight and narrow. Probably, you know, you're teaching your son the same thing, but then now you all of a sudden hear about these kind of things, this kind of darkness that happened around your son's name, like this sort of darkness that like is around your son's name, right? And then you hear the allegations, and then it really becomes real. Like, this nigga really did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, how are you feeling at that point? Like, give me in the comments. Like, that's if you care enough to do this. You don't have to. You know what I'm saying? Let's say you are this guy's parents, or a child like this's parents, and then let's say you never knew that your son was on this kind of thing. You know, as David himself said, he was like, yo, I don't know who it was that was surprised, like, yo, damn, this is your music, talking about all this death and all this, that, and the third. So let's say you were that person and you are his, you know what I'm saying, old folks and shit, like how would you have felt? Like, be honest. One word. Okay, 3-word max sentences, right? 3-word max. Like, how are you feeling about that?
Played in the house, music-wise, was just Bach, Beethoven, Mozart, gospel music, like classical stuff, instrumentals only. Like, we didn't listen to any other music. There was no like.
Wait, was he a Jehovah's Witness before? Okay, I don't know why I would ask that. Okay, let me go.
Lady Gaga and all the popular artists everybody was listening to. We never could listen to that because my parents just wouldn't let us. It was just like straight classical stuff.
It was literally nothing. It was all gospel and like classical, Mozart, Bach, like all that kind of.
Yo, and you see the thing is with the kind of music that he's naming, bro, it's the kind of music that, you know, sensitizes the imagination. It's like what he's talking about, like the Bach and the classical stuff like that. It's the kind of music that, you know, it has no lyrics. It's just music doing a whole range of, you know, just it's just a whole bunch of dynamism that goes on in that kind of music. So the imagination is overly sensitized, right? So if you're a person that, like, you know, imagines some dark stuff, like that stuff might just, like, you know what I'm saying, like it might help you enhance that kind of imagination. And that's what I think, yo, this guy was just like, yo, I don't even know how to put it, bro. It's like the thing was enabled so bad by the music. Plus, you know what I'm saying? Music is powerful, y'all. Don't be doubting, like, what music could do to the human psychology, bro. Facts.
Stuff, because my parents wanted me to be really smart. They never, like, talked about college or anything like that, but they always wanted me to be very intellectual, very put together, have an idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, because they were intellectual. They were an intellectual pair, bro. Check the career paths that they chose. You know what I'm saying? There was no time to play around here.
Listen to music like that at all.
Trying to control what your kids listen to and the content they consume isn't necessarily harmful in and of itself. But if a kid is going to school and has no level of cultural relatability, it can cause feelings of being excluded, which in turn affects his socialization.
Yeah.
If everyone got to access music and it became a point of discussion he couldn't involve himself in, it might have led to feelings of envy. And instead of David accepting this, he tried to find a way around it.
Did your parents put sort of a cap on what you could and couldn't listen to?
Nah, I was sneaking
around. It wasn't like that.
I had this little iPod. I used to sneak. I got it with me right now too. I still got these. I used to sneak around with the iPod Touch. I used to sneak around with the iPod Touch and download things off iTunes and stuff like that.
The sneaking around his parents like this is consistent with reactance theory, proposed by Jack Brem in 1966.
What's that?
When perceived behavioral freedom is restricted, individuals are motivated to reclaim it. In these situations, the forbidden fruit, which for David would have been music, becomes more desirable, and the individual tries to acquire it by any means, even if it includes secrecy.
So it's one of those things where it's like when you're a kid, bro. So like some of these characteristics, right? They don't get taught, but it's just how they are restricted from you. Like you're so curious, right? That you might want to just like experience certain things that, you know, your older folks or your caregivers may think, nah, bro, like you're like, you don't belong like here, like you don't have to be experiencing this, right? But because maybe the stubbornness, maybe the, I don't know, man, the itch, dog, you know, maybe the depravity of just like a lot of things with you, you know, you might just like work hard at making sure that you experience this one thing that, you know, piques your curiosity so bad you may go against like your old folks with it. With him it was music. Why is it giving sinners, bro? Like damn, like sin, like music was the forbidden fruit. Like damn.
Now it's not the behavior itself that's necessarily significant, but the pattern it establishes. That authority is to be managed through concealment rather than confronted directly. This pattern would then reoccur later through his adult life. It didn't help David that his private school life in New York also consisted of bullying and teachers picking on him. So he had an uneasy time both at school and at home.
I hated New York at that point. Like,
why did you
I didn't
hate
like
it?
my school. I was at a private school and they treated me so horribly, dude.
Why?
It was insane.
Why,
I don't know.
bro?
All the teachers had it out for me. My little brother could testify to that too. Dude, they just had it out for me all the time. I don't know what it was. I would just do nothing to nobody and the teachers would just pick on me and bully me for no reason, bro. I wanted to leave that place.
But dog, it's no. Y'all believe there's such a thing as something happening for no reason at all, bro? Like I feel like people have people know about this whole everything happens for a reason sort of saying, like cause and effect sort of talking points where it's like you'd have to convince me of way more for me to believe that people would just like inflict certain things for no reason at all. You know what I'm saying? No reason at all, gang. Think about what you're saying, man. No reason at all. You know. Sometimes, like, look, bro. I'm a subscriber of the belief that some aspects about you may not be aware of, or you may not be aware that people are aware of them. You know, subconsciously. You feel what I'm saying? You think, hey, it's nothing going on with you. This, that, and the third. Or, you know, it's nothing wrong with you, or it's nothing wrong with how maybe you portray, for example, how you portray or relay certain information. you may think it's nothing wrong with the fact that you probably omit important like details, or when you talk, you talk in a non-chronological way, right? You don't like put important details like in a chronological way so that people can see that. You may think it's nothing wrong with that, and then people may just like question your way of conveying a message or conveying a story, and then they might be like, nah, I prefer somebody else telling me a story rather than you, and then that makes you insecure, right? You may end up being like, man, I don't know why people don't want to listen to me when, you know, whenever I have the truth, but it's okay. It's like, you know what I'm saying? And then I may come through and break it down to you that, bro, it's just like how you convey the thing, right? You may not be aware that, dog, how you put the information out there, you put it in such a way, man, you add so much fluff maybe to it, and then you don't talk chronologically so that the thing makes cohesive sense. And so you may lose me before you even get to a critical point in the messaging that you have for me, you know, delivering the truth, to a point where I'm like, nah, bro, like you don't talk about shit. You never talk about nothing anyway, nothing but fluff with it. You know what I'm saying? And then you may be like, why? But you may have the truth. Yes, you may have maybe important information, but it's just how you carry the. So basically, your issue is communication. Like your skill of communication is just maybe dog shit. It's ass. It is what it is. It happens, right? I feel like it's that whole thing though. He may not be aware of certain aspects that may have had people treat him, you know, the way he was treated. I mean, maybe you were super suspicious, like just coming off super sus within your personality. That's why maybe things like the files that came out about you, right, being David, that's why the kind of files that about you, let me be able to speak chronologically myself, please let me be able to communicate, goddamn it, right? Maybe that's why files like the files that came out about David would come out about him, because clearly this people being suspicious of you was for a reason, right? And so him then now being like, yo, I don't know why they treated me. You probably gave it away that you were like a suspicious boy. Maybe your actions, your what, and obviously he's probably not gonna admit that right here. He's gonna be like, oh no, I don't know. They probably was like, they were just out for me. They were just out to just get me. It's like, I don't even know why. No, maybe your actions, like really they sense that something's off about you. And literally the actions that, you know, the results of the girl that you KILLED'd, that confirms that shit. You were a weirdo, like a very suspicious person, bro. That's why they treated you how they treated you. That would be my analysis. Now that's why I asked y'all, really, for nothing? They really treated you in a off sort of way, for nothing, David, for nothing? Alright, man. Let's continue,
So
bro.
bad.
And he got his wish as they moved to Houston, Texas, and he found it slightly better at his new school. But he was a kid that didn't really seem to find anything that stuck. His parents tried to get him into music, but it wasn't stimulating enough for him at that time.
She put me into piano lessons when I was 7, and then I quit that after a week. She was like, okay, I'm not gonna pay for it if you don't like it. Quit that. I went into she put me in a church choir when I was 8. Quit that. And then I was in middle school band when I was in 7th grade. I played the flute.
So then what did distract you from all of that, from doing all of that? Because clearly you are a musical guy. You just, you know, you had the music career going on. So what was the point of, like, why, like, what was rejecting you from just like going on with it from that point? Was it the murder? No.
And I quit that.
But he never developed into a conventionally social child. He describes himself as a people watcher rather than a member of a friend group, sitting apart in cafeteria settings and constructing fictional narratives around classmates that they were unaware of.
Yeah.
At school, before I was homeschooled, like middle school, elementary, I would look at these kids, like at cafeteria, at lunch was like my playground, like my brain's playground. Like there's so many different kids and they're all doing something different. Yeah. I would just sit there and I'm a people watcher. I would just inspect them and like write about them and stuff like that. And I kind of brought these characters to life that were inspired by my classmates. So every time I would write like a short story, I'd have these different classmates in these stories, and they would never know. It's like different names and everything, but they were inspired by my classmates. It was
This preference to observe people and create these stories was an early marker that he had a natural tendency to see people as subjects for analysis
Yeah, psychoanalysis.
rather than reciprocal social partners.
Oh.
Combined with his bullying in New York, it suggests he felt more inclined to exist on the edge of social bubbles rather than in them.
Yeah, and maybe that kind of thing probably, you know, inspired the whole like being anti to everybody to a point where, you know, you engage with somebody like on an outer sort of level, on an outside sort of level. For you to like even psychoanalyze somebody, hold on, my bad. For you to even like, you know, psychoanalyze somebody, you sort of kind of, you know, get yourself outside of the scenario of the current moment. Like we may be like engaging, having a conversation, but what you're thinking about, you know what I'm saying, with regards to me may not have anything to do with why we're here. You may be thinking, yo, how can I pack this nigga's body up real quick after I killed it and things like that. And it's just like, how can I, you know what I'm saying? Weirdo ass nigga. But you know, I feel like, yo, let's go on seeing this psychoanalyzing his psychoanalytical nature after this moment of silence for the incision.